everyone! So we are here to give information about the Osgood-Schramm model of communication. Osgood-Schramm model is built on the theory that communication is a two-way street, with a sender and a receiver. Charles Egerton Osgood popularized the notion that communication was circular rather than linear, meaning it required two participants taking turns sending and receiving a message. Components of Osgood-Schramm. Most communication models have different components that help to identify the structure of the model. In the Osgood-Schramm model, the components are fairly simple. There are four components: the sender, message, receiver, and semantic barriers. First is sender. This is the person who encodes and sends the message. Second is message. This is the content being shared between the parties. Third is receiver. This is the person who decodes the message. Fourth is the semantic barriers. The backgrounds, belief, experience, and values that influence how the sender conveys a message and how the receiver interprets it.
The Osgood-Schramm model of communication is defined as a circular model that shows that the message goes in two directions. The model has four key principles. First is communication is circular, not linear. Second, communication is usually equal and reciprocal. Third, messages require interpretation. And last, fourth, there are three steps of communicating. First is encoding, second is decoding, and third is interpreting. The first principle is circular communication. The Osgood-Schramm model of communication, it involves a circular communication between two people. Each person is both a sender and a receiver. They are therefore able to communicate to one another, rather than only in one direction. The circular feature of this model is very different from the linear models. The second principle is equal and reciprocal communication, because both of the members of the communication have a capacity to encode, decode, and interpret. This model views the two members of a conversation as equal participants. This model therefore works very well to understand a face-to-face communication or text message exchange. For example, we're both members of the conversation. We have a back and forth discussion. This equal communication model is very different to many others, which see communication as a one-way street where people take a role of either sender or a receiver. The third principle is communication involves interpretation. Schramm was insisted that communication is not simple by passing a packet of information from a sender to a receiver. Instead, he showed that messages must be interpreted in order for them to understand. In the process of interpretation, however, a lot of meaning can be lost. We call the lost or misinterpretation of information semantic noises caused by semantic barriers. Semantic barriers are especially the values, beliefs, and background knowledge that impact how someone sends the message and how someone receives the message. The two-way communication keeps on going in a circular pattern. The semantic noises is ideally reduced because of the two communicators can come to shared meaning and give one another further clarification on what they actually mean. Some people call semantic noises a weakness for this model. However, this model simply shows that semantic noises is possible, so it's not a weakness. If anything, it's a good that the author have shown us what it is and how it works. The fourth principle is communication requires encoding, decoding, and interpreting. So here's how each step works. Encoding. When we want to send a message, we need to think about how to craft it to get our message across clearly. We need to think of a right word to say, in what order we should send our message to communicate our ideas to the message receiver. Decoding. When we receive a message, we need to decode it. A message may be poked as text, image, advertisement, or speech. When receiving a message, we need to use our reading skills, listening skills, or etc. to decode this message so that it makes sense for us. Sometimes, someone may mishear or misread the message, which will interfere with their interpretation. Interpreting. Now that we understand the medium of communication, we can go about interpreting the message. What does it mean to you? One person may interpret the message in a totally different way to someone else, or they may not understand it in the same way as the encoder, meaning they have misinterpreted the